Old Fang, it's starting that thing's up for auction. Wang Kong was unusually excited. For everything else, regardless of the price, Fang Jueyu would just keep bidding up to the sky. He wasn't short on money. But now, something a bit more interesting had appeared, and it was mysterious enough that they were only seeing it for the first time now. On the small cart were two very high-end briefcases. Bringing them up this time weren't the ceremonial girls from before, but two people in peculiar skin-tight outfits. Those two had well-proportioned figures, short and neat hair, expressionless faces, and wore glasses that looked straight out of a sci-fi movie. What's this? Filming a sci-fi movie? The strange attire led many to whisper among themselves. Two SS-class superpower users. This Rothschild family sure has some deep roots. Quite a few people from various governments and military circles marveled. There were only a handful of SSS-class superpower users in the world, and an SS class was already considered a significant asset for any country. Some countries didn't even have a few, and yet in this family, such individuals were used as bodyguards to escort auction items. It was a testament to the Rothschild family's immense wealth. This isn't for a movie, Fang Jueyu explained. Old Wang, I'm not joking. These two are superpower users. Are you kidding me? Wang Kong, having lived so long, had established his worldview. Such superpower users obviously only existed in movies and novels, outside of his understanding. Gogh, show him a little demonstration, Fang Jueyu said. Yes, young master. Gogh walked up to Wang Kong and extended a hand. What are you doing? Whoosh! A hot flame erupted from Gogh's palm, even scorching Wang Kong's hair at the front of his head. What the heck? Wang Kong jumped off the couch in fright. He completely felt the heat in the air. It definitely wasn't some kind of illusion. This, Old Fang, is Gogh also a superpower user you mentioned? No, compared to him, superpower users are like kids, Fang Jueyu said. I didn't want you to know, but since we're so close, you'll come across these things sooner or later. Your background is really unfathomable. Wang Kong sat down, his heart still racing. But he knew Fang Jueyu. He wouldn't harm him or had any need to. His wealth was more than enough to buy 100 Patek watches. What was the point? Colt, do you know about the Rothschild family's power? Fang Jueyu asked casually. Young master, no need to discuss the Rothschild family's assets, just a few $billion, less than 1% of ours. However, their foundation is quite remarkable, with two SSS-class superpower users and dozens of SS-class ones. Such power could easily overthrow several small countries. Ha ha ha, young master, you love to joke. Our Ladinic family doesn't have superpower users. We've trained hidden elementers with the first-generation family head's teachings, Colt laughed. They can't match Mr. Gogh, but these superpower users are nothing more than useless trash. My ancestor really treated this family well, even teaching them the guiding technique. Fang Jueyu murmured. Even though it was just a small portion, it far exceeded modern times already. Click! Scarlet opened the box, revealing two spiral-shaped vials that resembled the injector Fang Hua had given to Fang Jueyu with little Yi. One vial was blue, the other green. The blue one was an enhancement potion, and the green one a neutralizing potion. For Earth's current tech, it was still a primitive technology at best. The enhancement potion could unlock the body's potential, triggering beneficial genetic mutations. But the mutation was too intense for ordinary bodies. The United States conducted numerous human trials. After many test subjects died, they developed this neutralizer. It stabilized the genes and reduced pain, increasing the superpower user's creation rate to over 50%. To know, other countries' technologies could only achieve a maximum of 10% success rate, and the body requirements were extremely high. Each vial's cost was astronomical. They were desperate to acquire this advanced technology from the auction. Why does this feel like Resident Evil? Wang Kong curiously eyed the two vials. DSB-003, does this abbreviation mean dumb stupid big? Ha ha ha. It really is pretty dumb, Fang Jueyu laughed. His ancestor over 2,000 years ago could produce pills that fully unlocked a body's potential. Now these fools were fiercely competing over this trash. Isn't that just dumb? 3 billion euros. The United States' first bid. This was their ace in genetic enhancement. It couldn't fall into other nations' hands no matter what, they had to buy it all. 3.5 billion, someone from Sun Country bid. 3.7 billion. This time it was English with a curry-like accent. 3.9 billion, the French joined in the bidding. But with each bid, they glanced toward room 1, fearing Fang Jueyu would scoop everything up again. Fang Jueyu, however, remained silent, unclear whether he had no interest or had run out of funds. But it seemed reasonable. Those capable of contending for the enhancement potion were either government or military forces. The individual in room 1 was probably just some wealthy person. No matter how rich they were, they couldn't surpass a country. Huaxia folks really lack judgment, spending so much on pretty but useless items, ignoring the real treasures. This nationality's potential seems exhausted, Jinjin Shuji said with a hint of pity. 4 billion. Old Fang, are you going to snatch this? Wang Kong asked. Given Fang Juyu's personality, he probably would have started an "I'll buy" moment. What's the point of snatching this trash? Fang Jueyu said. With Jiangnan City's strict garbage sorting, I'd have to consider whether it's dry, wet, or hazardous waste. Why waste the money? It's been scooped to 4 billion and this is still trash, Wang Kong asked, puzzled. My ancestor researched better stuff 2,000 years ago. If this isn't trash, then what is? How could they have known that when they mocked Fang Juyu's lack of vision, Fang Jueyu too was mocking them? They passionately fought over something even the Fang family members wouldn't deign to look at, something they'd ponder how to classify as waste. Fang Juyu's eyes were filled with the sympathy of someone watching intellectually challenged children. Fang Jueyu shook his head and sighed. It seems their imagination is indeed limited by poverty. The price competition had almost reached a fever pitch, especially for those from the United States. They were so tense that their faces were nearly frozen, and every time someone called out a higher price, they shivered all over. After all, their funds were not infinite. You all keep fighting. Even if you get it, after developing the technology for a few hundred years, you'll still lose to a kid from my family wearing a split-pants hidden elementers. Fang Jueyu lay comfortably on the sofa, happily munching on fruit, deciding it was better to watch this dogfight than to miss out on the next worthwhile treasure. This intense struggle lasted for almost half an hour, and finally, those from the United States bought it at a price of 7.6 billion euros per set. 152 billion might seem like a massive figure, but what they had invested into research for this project was 10 to 100 times that number. Letting it fall into foreign hands would be the United States' greatest loss. The countries that failed to grab the price showed expressions of disappointment, yet they were not utterly hopeless. They believed that, although the United States was the largest economy, their money was not limitless. The first 2 batches of enhancers were mainly designed to deplete their funds. Who among those vying for this enhancer wasn't carrying billions of euros? It could almost be said that the combined funds brought by attendees at this auction were enough to ignite a terrifying financial storm worldwide. I estimate those Americans brought at most 30 billion euros, and now half is gone. We still have a chance in the next round, Jinjin Shuji confidently remarked. With 15 billion euros, grabbing just 1 set was more than enough for him. It's a bit boring. Fang Jueyu had been sitting for half an hour and was even yawning. Xiaoi, help me see how many countries' representatives have come. There are quite a few. Almost all developed countries are here, while many other countries have come to stir the pot. Are you sure you want me to tell you all? That's unnecessary, Fang Jueyu said. But no matter who takes this enhancer, it won't be anything to cheer about. The United States, Sun Country, Germany, France, and others, none of these countries invoked any positive feelings in him. As for England, perhaps there was a historical friendship with their royal family, but only at that level. As for their government, Fang Jueyu remembered well that they had a hand in past events. Is there anyone with relatively good relations with Huaxia? Yes, quite a few. Israel, Pakistan, and Ukraine have sent people, but they don't bring enough money even for a down payment. Oh, a slight curve appeared at the corner of Fang Jueyu's mouth. This just got a lot more interesting. The auction continued. With so much buzz online, Fang Jueyu felt it inappropriate to monopolize the scene. He refrained from bidding on items of low value or little interest, opting instead for the exquisite pieces worth millions of euros. A diamond named Pink Blossom, weighing 71.2 carats, was purchased by Fang Jueyu for 170 million euros. A painting by Mitchell Basquiat, valued at 185 million euros. A bronze sculpture by Constantin Brancusi, sold for 150 million euros. Among the next 30 offerings, Fang Jueyu bought 14 items, the cheapest of which were more than 90 million euros. The most intriguing piece was a saber once belonging to Napoleon. His crowning sword is a national relic stored in a state museum and definitely not for sale. This dagger was a backup, with a largest diamond of 102 carats and over 20 smaller, yet substantial diamonds embedded in the hilt. Along with the bloodstone and tortoiseshell, it was a ridiculously opulent ceremonial item. Several people from France tried their hardest, but in terms of financial resources, the whole country couldn't compare. How could they possibly outperform him? This short sword was won by Fang Jueyu for a staggering 8.7 billion euros, surprising everyone, showing Fang Jueyu wasn't lacking the money to compete for the DSB-003 enhancer. He simply had no interest. Awesome, you've brought in a national treasure-level item, Wang Kong laughed with glee. Decades ago, French robbers had seen countless Huaxia treasures fall into their hands, with some even displayed in museums. Now Fang Jueyu had reclaimed their national treasure, serving poetic justice. What a pity, if I could get Napoleon's crowning sword, that'd be something, Fang Jueyu said. I hear this saber is quite sharp. I'll have my chef use it at home for chopping ingredients. Such a good knife, isn't it perfect for cutting ribs? Right, and what about the Sun Country's katana or the 3 divine artifact swords? Keeping them in a shrine is a waste. Better use them to slice food. You really dare to dream. Wang Kong believed that if such items were ever up for sale, Fang Jueyu would buy them to chop pig bones. Here we go, they're selling that dumb enhancer again. Wang Kong gestured towards Fang Jueyu. No matter how expensive the item, if there's no competition, it's not fun. Yet when the bidding's intense, watching dogs fight over a bone is amusing. As another cart was pushed onto the auction stage, the atmosphere heated up again. Are you done? I was just a hair away from buying it. If we lose this opportunity, you and the finance department are in trouble. What? We're out of money. What about all that government revenue? Let it go, Audiobook. Our nation's financial capability can't match theirs. Pakistan was just a small country, their funds barely sustaining the operation of state machinery. Even if they wanted a piece of this, they lacked the capability. Alas, our nation is too weak in this area of research. We had a 1 in 10,000 chance, but we were too naive. Audiobook shook his head, wearing a bitter smile. Suddenly, the communicator one of them carried vibrated, and he picked it up in confusion. It was a temporary device, and no one but top national figures knew its code. This, Audiobook, he stammered and widened his eyes in shock. Someone transferred 30 billion euros into our account. What? Audiobook grabbed the communicator. The message came directly from their finance ministry. Someone had just transferred 30 billion euros into their national account via a Swiss bank. All these funds were at their disposal, and their one task was to do everything possible to bring the enhancer back. Who could it be? Audiobook's hands trembled as if he felt some intervention from above. Their nation had only given them 5 billion euros, yet this 30 billion came from a private account. Could it be some national magnate, guessed Audiobook, but who could afford this? Audiobook, there's more news. He handed over the communicator. The communicator displayed a brief message. Batai, I can only help you this far. Batai, the only ones who call us that are Huaxia people. It's the Huaxia people helping us. Audiobook showed an excited expression. But it's so strange. How did they know about our national treasury account, and how did they contact us? This was 30 billion euros. Why didn't they use it to bid for the enhancer themselves? It seemed that during the first round of bidding, they didn't hear any voices from the Huaxia people, right? The person who provided us the funds must be at the venue. Audiobook was convinced of this point. Could it be the Huaxia billionaire in room 1? I don't know, but since they're helping us, we can't let them down. 30 billion is enough for us to win this set of enhancers. Audiobook said, you go and report to our superiors first. Leave this to me. Since the Huaxia people are helping us, we must repay their kindness, even if we have nothing to offer them right now. Got it, I'll go now. Audiobook, who originally wore an expression of disappointment, suddenly beamed with joy. Don't you all have money? Now that our big brother is helping us, the outcome of this bid is still unknown. The starting bid for this set of DSB-003 is still 2 billion US dollars. Bidding starts now. 6 billion euros. The United States representative directly shouted a very high bid, enough to make a large part of the country's present give up. 7 billion euros. 8 billion. 10 billion. Jinjin Shuji gritted his teeth. To avoid any unforeseen incidents, he directly called out an astonishing price. Old Fang, how high do you think the price will soar this time? Who knows? Fang Jueyu said with a grin. But I know that soon both the people from the United States and the ones from Sun Country will be so shocked their jaws will drop. Oh, how do you know? Heh, you'll see soon enough. 12 billion. A voice that had never appeared before suddenly shouted a price that left everyone amazed. Urdu Pakistanis. How could they possibly have that much money? Impossible. It wasn't that Pakistan couldn't come up with that much money. After all, it was a country. It would be absurd if it couldn't come up with over 100 billion euros. But last year, Pakistan's entire GDP was only over 300 billion US dollars. Don't they need to build their country? Don't the people need to eat, drink, and live? Spending over 100 billion euros to buy this enhancer seemed way too ambitious. 12.2 billion. Sleeve gritted his teeth and shouted this number. The funds provided by the US military were not much, and buying the previous 2 sets of enhancers had already consumed half of their funds. Given the current situation, recovering all the enhancers lost outside was impossible. All they could do was try to retrieve as much as possible to reduce losses. The remaining funds were probably enough to buy 1 more set. This must be their limit. They definitely can't come up with more funds. Sleeve's face turned pale. They initially thought that 30 billion euros were enough to bring back all the reagents, but now it seemed he had thought too simply. 13 billion euros. Adubos confidently raised the bid. He could feel the urgency in Sleeve's tone, indicating he had little funding left. 14.5 billion. Sleeve directly threw out his final bid. 15 billion. Damn it. In room 6, Sleeve smashed the cup in his hand into pieces, initially believing the 3rd set of enhancers was secure. Still, who knew that there'd be an unexpected turn, producing such a dark horse? 15 billion once. Scarlet raised the auction gavel. Mr. Jinjin, shall we bid? Wait for the next set. Jinjin Shuji's face also showed a solemn expression. They had a total of just slightly more than 15 billion euros, making it too risky. 15 billion twice. It remained completely silent. 15 billion thrice. Bang. Sold. Hugh, Adubos breathed a sigh of relief. They had successfully secured this batch of enhancers with slight odds and ends. We got the enhancer. Let's leave as soon as possible. Adubos was well aware that the Americans wouldn't let them leave easily, and there were also plenty of others eyeing the DSB-003 enhancer. Colt, are there any hidden elementers from the Ladinic family nearby? Fang Jueyu asked. Yes, I am authorized to mobilize 6 hidden elementers from the family, young master. Do you want? Send 2 people to escort our Pakistani brothers. Don't let any small insects cause trouble. Colt immediately understood Fang Jueyu's intention. At this time, other countries' superpower users were likely already surrounding the Rothschild family's exterior with tight security. Even though Fang Jueyu helped them buy the enhancer, given their national strength, it was impossible for them to walk out easily. Young master, I'll handle it now. 1 hidden elementer could take down an SSS-class superpower user, akin to cutting through butter. There was no need to worry about their safety. Zioyi, how much funds do each country have left now? Fang Jueyu asked. Sun Country has 15.5 billion euros. The United States has 14.7 billion left. Germany 14.2 billion. France 13.8 billion. Do they think they're entitled to benefits from this auction? Fang Jueyu asked coldly. Although these enhancers originally belonged to the Americans, Fang Jueyu had no fondness for them, and the best outcome would be for those things to fall into the hands of countries friendly with Huaxia. What about Israel and Ukraine? They have very little funding, only under 5 billion. Sister Zhuang Ying, please transfer 15 billion euros each to the representatives from Israel and Ukraine. Fang Jueyu repeated the maneuver, and with this money, they should be able to buy the items. Okay, young master, I'll handle it immediately. Zhuang Ying asked no questions, as she always just followed Fang Jueyu's instructions when it came to spending money. Old Fang, what exactly are you up to? Wang Kong was also aware that Fang Jueyu had just transferred money to the Pakistani representatives. It puzzled him. It was clearly a pile of junk, but why spend so much money helping people from other countries? Not to mention, just the 60 billion euros could directly create 2 people in the top 10 of the Forbes list. Was this meaningful? Not up to much. I have no particular goal. I just want to annoy those people and spend more money. Fang Jueyu shrugged his shoulders. Didn't you find it delightful to see the people of the Sun Country and the United States get so upset? You're spending all this money just to feel good. Wang Kong now thought Fang Jueyu was simply outrageous. But come to think of it, it really is damned satisfying. The Americans gathered so much money, yet they still couldn't bring the items back, and the people from the Sun Country confidently came here, thinking they would undoubtedly reap rewards this time. How could they have imagined that suddenly there were two countries with more money than them? As the auction for the last two sets of enhancers was about to start, Wang Kong could almost imagine their furious expression. Now Wang Kong seemed to understand the meaning of that saying, "Are the wealthy truly happy?" No, you simply can't imagine the joy of those with money. The auction was nearing its end. Fang Jueyu, with deep pockets, once again successfully bid on 24 items, even adding a few new members to his garage and private hangar. But his purpose was solely to spend money, nothing more. Including the 60 billion euros spent to support those three countries, Fang Jueyu had spent over 140 billion euros in this auction, a sum even Fang Jueyu had never spent all at once in those days. When I return to the country and arrange the funds for desert construction, I should be able to submit the task. Fang Jueyu's face showed a faint excitement. It wouldn't be long before he could perhaps possess such enviable power like Gogh and the others. The final two DSB-003 serums were presented on the auction stage, starting at a base price of 2 billion euros, and this auction had truly entered its final stage. Many national representatives had already begun to discreetly set things in motion, as the auction had ended, but the scramble for enhancement serums had not. A thick scent of gunpowder filled the entire venue. In the room of the Sun Country's representative, a dark ninja, covered in blood, stumbled in. Kato-kun, Jinjin Shuji immediately supported him, sensing a tremendously chaotic energy within Kato Akira, and his physical condition was extremely poor. Most crucially, he had a very familiar aura on him, strikingly similar to the counterattack experienced when he had used spiritual power to probe. What happened? Jinjin Shuji promptly took out a light green syringe and injected it into Kato Akira's arm. Some unexpected things occurred. Kato Akira slowly regained his color, having been ordered to intercept the Pakistani delegates in an attempt to seize that batch of enhancement serums. In fact, many had this idea. Nearly 10 countries had dispatched superpower users to wait on their inevitable path. They seemed to have a very unified understanding to first hold the people back, leaving the final ownership of the serum to depend on individual capabilities. Pakistan, as a small country, had at best an SS-level superpower user, and even among those at the same level, their strength was rather average. However, unexpectedly, someone secretly assisted those Pakistani representatives, not even letting them see who took action. 3 SS-level superpower users were shattered by an unseen energy on the spot, and the rest were all wounded. If not for some special abilities, Kato Akira might already have died in that area. "Do you know who made a move?" Jinjin Shuji asked. Kato Akira shook his head. He truly couldn't guess the opponent's motive. Such precious enhancement serums, these mysterious people not only refrained from seizing them, but also helped those people escape. Just where did these individuals come from? What was their relationship with the owner of Room 1? "Don't worry about them for now. We must seize the remaining serums." Jinjin Shuji instructed Kato Akira to rest on the side and focused his full attention on the scramble for the final 2 sets of DSB-003 serums. Jinjin Shuji had investigated the capital carried by various countries this time. The only countries that could compete with them were a few like the United States, France, and Germany, with others posing no significant threat at all. The bidding begins. 14 billion. The national representatives capable of continuing the competition almost already knew each other's ceiling. Starting slowly from 2 billion euros would only waste time, so Jinjin Shuji directly shouted a price close to their limit. The representative of France looked grim as they only had a total of 13.8 billion, clearly indicating that the last 2 sets of serums were almost out of their reach. 14.2 billion, shouted Sleeve, the representative of the United States. 16 billion. The representative of Ukraine, who had remained silent from the beginning, also joined the fray. How's that possible? It was already quite surprising that Pakistan could come up with such exaggerated funds, and Ukraine's sudden intervention instantly made the situation much more complex. 16 billion going once. All the national representatives were panicked, not because they didn't want to continue bidding, but because they genuinely didn't have that much money. "Old Fang, that's someone from Ukraine, right?" Wang Kong, though unversed in Ukrainian, was at least knowledgeable, having heard it before. That's right, ha. I can already imagine the crazed expressions of the Americans and the Sun Country people. Fang Jueyu laughed. Those Sun Country people still think they can use dog heads to earn our money. Watch me play them to death. Ha. Encountering you is their bad luck from the past life. At the price of 16 billion, this batch of enhancement serums was unsurprisingly taken by the Ukrainians, while the other set went to the Israeli representative for 15.8 billion euros. The auction officially concluded with more than 90% returning empty-handed. Fang Jueyu was practically the biggest winner, joyfully paying the money. After such a long time, his portion of liquid funds was finally down to just over 400 billion US dollars. All the goods would be delivered by special aircraft to Fang Jueyu's residence in Huaxia within 2 days, so there was no need for him to worry about that. Young master, someone from the Rothschild auction house left a message for you, Colt said. What's the matter? Miss Scarlet wishes to meet you and to thank you. Fang Jueyu was taken aback. Oh, young master, you might not know this, but the Rothschild family's auctioneers are treated very generously. They earn substantial commissions from the difference between the actual auction price and the estimated auction price. Miss Scarlet made quite a fortune tonight. Old Fang, I guess I'll head back first. Would you like to meet her? Wang Kong laughed lecherously, clearly entertaining some inappropriate thoughts. Scarlet was a recognized goddess. However, to be honest, her appearance didn't align with Fang Jueyu's aesthetic standards. But if it was just a simple thank you, Fang Jueyu didn't mind meeting this superstar. Colt, find someone to take Wang Kong home. I'm afraid he might run into some trouble on the way, Fang Jueyu arranged. Rest assured, young master, I will make sure Mr. Wang is safely escorted to his residence. Yes, thanks for the hard work. Laugh again, and I will buy your dad's Badar group and make you the restroom manager, Fang Jueyu said fiercely. Wang Kong immediately shut his mouth. Given Fang Jueyu's capabilities, this was not an impossible threat. Seeing the timid look on Wang Kong's face, Fang Jueyu felt a bit more satisfied. Let's go meet Miss Scarlet. The Rothschild family had already arranged the meeting place, with someone escorting him there. With Gogh's protection, Fang Jueyu had no worries. Sir, Miss Scarlet is inside. The attendant brought Fang Jueyu outside a room. Young master, Gogh and I will wait for you outside, Zhuang Ying said. All right, I'll just chat briefly and be off. Fang Jueyu pushed the door open, and as he stepped into the room, a strong aromatic scent greeted him. Scarlet was wearing a tight sequined mini dress with silver high heels. She held a glass of red wine, her lips vivid and alluring. Damn, it feels like I've entered the silk cave again. That young, Scarlet showed an incredulous expression. With such terrifying financial power, she thought it should undoubtedly be a middle-aged man at least. Fang Jueyu's youth far exceeded her expectations. Even if he had started learning business from birth, earning a net worth of tens of billions of euros at this age was still an unbelievable feat. Young master, there are 6 superpower users nearby. Their levels aren't high, but they seem to be here for you. Gogh's voice appeared in Fang Jueyu's mind. Oh, someone wants to deal with me. Fang Jueyu wasn't surprised. From this auction, he estimated that he had already made a lot of enemies. Even encountering something more exaggerated than Fang Jueyu's treatment back then wouldn't be unexpected, but how was Scarlet involved? Miss Scarlet, it's a pleasure to finally meet you. Fang Jueyu walked up and sat beside Scarlet confidently. As he interacted with more women, he no longer blushed at every provocation like before. Today, I want to thank you. Scarlet handed him another glass of red wine. I don't even know how to address you. My last name is Fang, I'm from Huaxia, Fang Jueyu said. Mr. Fang's wealth is truly astonishing, Scarlet replied. But Mr. Fang is indeed domineering. It's the first time I've seen someone sweep almost all the auction items. What's so domineering about that? Fang Jueyu said. In an auction, the highest bidder wins. I spent the money, so naturally it's mine. By the way, I'm not sure what business Miss Scarlet had in inviting me here. A flicker of surprise surfaced in Scarlet's eyes. As a superstar, people constantly invited her to dinners or parties. But if there were a chance for a private encounter, surely those billionaires wouldn't behave honestly. Even if their hands were clean, their gazes would inevitably betray a bit of greed and desire. At Fang Jueyu's age, shouldn't he be at the peak of his vigor? She was extremely confident about her looks and figure, yet Fang Jueyu's words seemed dismissive, even impatient. Miss Scarlet, I'm in a hurry to get back home for a video call with my girlfriend, Fang Jueyu said directly. I know, it wasn't your idea to meet me today. Someone wanted to use you to lure me here. Let them come out so I can settle this and leave early. After hearing Fang Jueyu's words, Scarlet's face showed an expression of surprise. As an actress, she should have concealed everything flawlessly. Not to mention, she hadn't shown any hint. How did he figure it out? What Fang Jueyu said was indeed correct. Scarlet obtained quite a few benefits from this auction, but she never expected to meet him this way. This was all arranged by others. Even as a movie star, Scarlet had no choice when faced with the oppressive power of certain giants. Adam, the ruler of the entire European underworld and the owner of Room 2 at the auction earlier, was a king-like presence. Fang Jueyu's previous provocation clearly touched his bottom line. Unless they were from the Ladinic family, Adam almost had no parallel in Europe. No one dared to provoke him, and even heads of many countries had to give him some respect. Due to the auction's high level of secrecy, once outside the building, no one knew who was who. Even Adam couldn't obtain any information about Fang Jueyu from the Rothschild family, whose power matched theirs. This was why Adam had Scarlet invite Fang Jueyu here. These Huaxian people sure are bold. A middle-aged man with a cold appearance walked out of a room. Since you know, why did you still dare to come? Beside Adam stood 6 people who looked like bodyguards, all SS-class superpower users whom Adam had spent enormous resources to obtain. In his thoughts, Fang Jueyu couldn't simply be an ordinary person. Even without superpower users by his side, he would have strong protective forces. Adam's intent wasn't to kill Fang Jueyu. Often, a living person's value is much greater than a dead one's. How wealthy could someone be to buy 80 billion euros worth of items at an auction? You're the one from Room 2, Fang Jueyu glanced at Adam. I said you wouldn't be able to buy anything at this auction, and it seems I've succeeded. Adam's face immediately showed a surge of anger. Do you know who I am? Does it matter to me who you are? Fang Jueyu lifted a wine glass and lightly clinked it against Scarlet's. Miss Scarlet, no need to be tense. I know he forced you to lure me here and I won't blame you for it. Ha ha ha, Mr. Fang sure is a straightforward person. Adam thought Fang Jueyu was chickening out. But before he could finish his words, Fang Jueyu interrupted him. But whether you want money or my life, you're just dreaming. Are you playing with me? Adam suddenly felt that the young man in front of him was speaking so nonchalantly, as if he didn't see Adam's existence at all. Click, he took out a gun and pointed it at Fang Jueyu's head. 1,000 billion euros and I'll let you go. With Mr. Fang's wealth, this shouldn't be a concern, right? With a weapon in hand, Adam felt more confident. Even with a few superpower users at his side, they didn't offer the assurance of his own gun. It's strange. Why does everyone think they can kill me? Fang Jueyu patted his forehead. You're not the first to brag like this, but I'm still alive while they're either dead or insane. I'll throw the same question back at you. Do you know who I am? Fang Jueyu set down the wine glass, smiling at Adam. Who are you? Adam asked, his expression serious. To be able to be so calm and talk so breezily with a gun pointed at his head wasn't something ordinary people could do. But his bodyguards told Adam that this young man had no energy on him. He was just an ordinary person. Actually, I lied to Miss Scarlet. My last name isn't Fang. My real name is Yan Xiungying, known as the half-man, half-ghost, the first-class sharpshooter. Fang Jueyu stood up. Now I bet there's no bullet in your gun. I thought it was some monster, but you're just a fool, ha ha ha. Adam laughed. He had personally loaded the gun earlier and specifically checked it before coming out. Fang Jueyu hadn't even approached him. How could he possibly remove the bullet unnoticed? Why don't you see for yourself? Click, Adam pulled the trigger at the ceiling, but only the sound of the hammer clicking was heard. No gunshot followed. A look of disbelief appeared on his face. He removed the magazine, and out flowed a pile of metallic powder and gunpowder. The bullets in the chamber had been crushed to powder. I told you your gun chamber has no bullets, Fang Jueyu laughed. Let's make another bet. Now I bet you'll soon see your own brains. Adam trembled all over. Fang Jueyu could silently and invisibly crush the bullet in his chamber, so wouldn't it be possible for him to kill him as well? What is going on? Didn't you say he wasn't a superpower user? Adam looked at the superpower users beside him. This method clearly seemed like abilities such as metal manipulation or spiritual power materialization. But Mr. Adam, we really didn't detect any fluctuation of superpower. The 6 superpower users also showed expressions of disbelief. How could anyone do all this without them noticing? Even an SSS-level top superpower user couldn't do this, right? I'm asking you, I said you'll see your own brains, do you believe it? Fang Jueyu said calmly. The 6 superpower users immediately looked highly alert, surrounding Adam. No matter how strong that person was, it was impossible to kill Adam under their noses without showing up right. Gogh, come out, stop scaring them. If this Adam ends up being scared to death, I'll have lost the bet. I have a reputation to uphold. Fang Jueyu added another remark. Oh, and deal with these 6 first. As soon as he finished speaking, a blood-red circular ring suddenly appeared on the ground where Adam and the 6 superpower users stood. A bloody light full of the scent of blood and slaughter emerged from that ring. Damn, is this a special move? Fang Jueyu was seeing Gogh strike like this for the first time. It was like an animation effect straight out of a game cutscene. Had Gogh really grown that powerful? Suddenly, 6 arms that seemed to be formed from coagulated blood stretched out from the giant blood-red circle, raising the bodies of the 6 people high up like devil's claws. They struggled madly, but in the face of Gogh's power they were utterly powerless. No matter how hard they tried, they couldn't break free from these arms. The scarlet claws seemed intent on crushing their bodies. They could clearly feel energy draining from their bodies, yet they remained helpless against it all. What kind of power was this? They had never seen such methods even from SSS-level superpower users. Amid their painful cries, the 6 people seemed to have all their nutrients absorbed, leaving behind not even a corpse, just the clothes they had worn earlier. Miss Scarlet, don't be afraid. He's my personal bodyguard. Fang Jueyu recovered from the shock with a grin. Gogh's incredible power wasn't as astonishing, it was just that the means were a bit eerie. Yan Xiungying, was this done by your personal bodyguard? Scarlet stiffened slightly at the sight. The scene was far beyond her comprehension, and she probably would not forget it for countless nights to come. Young master, including this guy and the other 14 superpower users he arranged around the manor, I have taken care of all of them. Gogh stood behind Fang Jueyu, protecting him like a shadow. Your skills are quite flashy, Fang Jueyu joked. My potential and my personality and experiences are somewhat related. I hope I didn't scare you, young master, Gogh said. But in his eyes, Fang Jueyu noticed an emotion he had never detected in Gogh before, indicating Gogh might have his own story. Miss Scarlet, we'll talk later. Fang Jueyu put down his wine glass and walked over to Adam. By this time, Adam was completely dumbfounded. Even though Gogh's power hadn't directly attacked him, that red circle felt like a hell on earth, an experience he had never had in his life. Mr. Adam, I merely wanted to attend an auction, spend some money, buy some things, and show off a bit. I didn't intend to hassle you, so why did you seek trouble with me? Fang Jueyu asked. Aren't you curious why? Though I am not a representative of the Huaxia military nor of the Ladinic family, I am in a room that only their family members can use. Adam raised his head. Indeed, until now, he knew almost nothing about this person except Fang Jueyu's nationality. Actually telling you doesn't matter. Fang Jueyu didn't mind letting a man doomed to die know too much, because the entire Ladinic family is my servant. Everything their family has, they owe to me. It's that simple. What? Adam's pupils dilated severalfold, as if he'd heard the most unbelievable thing in the world. The Ladinic family had existed for a long time. Their might was immense beyond measure. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to call them the emperors of Europe. Until now, there were no known cases where the Ladinic family had suffered under any power, and on a global scale, they were among the very top families. But now this young man named Yan Xiungying claimed that such a family was his servant. What sort of international joke was this? Ha 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 ha, are you really a lunatic? You don't believe it, Fang Jueyu frowned. Oh right, come in, Colt. Click, the door to the room opened. Colt, having completed his other tasks, had been waiting outside. The Ladinic family's totem. Adam immediately saw the emblem on Colt's attire. In Europe, only this family had the right to use this symbol. Anyone else daring to usurp it would face endless pursuit by the Ladinic family. Are you from the Ladinic family? Adam asked unwillingly. Adam, I have to say, you're really too foolish, Colt said. The young master originally hadn't intended to cause you more trouble, but you dared to go against him. Are you really so comfortable living in Europe that you seek your own demise? Is he really? You don't need to know. Fang Jueyu pulled Scarlet over. Miss Scarlet, let's go. It might get a bit bloody here soon. Scarlet looked puzzled, but dutifully followed Fang Jueyu. Gogh, don't forget my earlier words. Let him see his own brains. With that, Fang Jueyu left the room. Miss Scarlet, let's part ways here. Fang Jueyu waved his hand. He had grown tired of this place. Congratulations, Master. Your personal account in Huaxia has received a foreign exchange reserve of 210 billion euros. Now your liquid assets total 666.6 billion US dollars. What the hell? What's going on? I just spent over 100 billion euros. How come the more I spend, the more I have? Master, all of Adam's assets have been handed over to Colt by Gogh. After preliminary calculations, the total value of these assets is around 210 billion euros. Since they are in Europe, this part of the assets will be managed by the Ladinic family in the future. Then why did it all come to me? Because the ones handled by Gogh belong to the agents on behalf of Huaxia's part. Fang Jueyu's face turned dark immediately. Is it easy for me to finally spend some money? Gogh, you damn squanderer. Young master, I'm back. I've taken care of everything. A few minutes later, Gogh returned to Fang Jueyu's side. From asset valuation to fund transfer, it took less than 10 minutes in total. Fang Jueyu was astounded by the efficiency of his subordinates. Don't show up in front of me. I don't want to see you right now. Fang Jueyu feared he might lose his temper and hit Gogh, but even if Gogh stood still and took it, he'd only hurt himself. It was better not to see him at all. A look of grievance appeared on Gogh's face. He had clearly helped Fang Jueyu increase his assets significantly. Why was Fang Jueyu giving him attitude? But he didn't dare ask. After all, he was just Fang Jueyu's personal bodyguard. Like a shadow, he vanished into the darkness again. Young master, I've got good news for you. Zhuang Ying seemed to have received some information. What's up? Fang Jueyu asked, wearing a long face. There was no good news that could make him happy anymore. Mr. Colt just sent people to protect Mr. Wang Kong and representatives from a few allied countries. As expected, they were jointly attacked by several countries and forces. That's good news. Were they injured? Rest assured, young master, Mr. Wang Kong is already on his way back. The representatives from Pakistan, Israel, and Ukraine have already regrouped with their respective forces. No one would dare cause trouble on a normal international route, Zhuang Ying said. Then what's the good news you're talking about? Fang Jueyu asked curiously. With Colt arranging for hidden elementers to protect them, it wasn't unexpected. How could that be considered good news? Young master, the forces that attended the auction for the DSB-003 enhancement serum brought a lot of funds. Those major countries each brought over 10 billion euros. And then, Fang Jueyu suddenly had a bad feeling. Could it be? Ha, they tried to intercept our people, so we were merely acting in self-defense. Naturally, the spoils belong to you, young master, Zhuang Ying said. Mr. Colt has already transferred all the money to me. My XXX censored 100,000-word national curse. How much money? Fang Jueyu's expression was more disgusted than if he'd eaten crap. These people came to rob but brought so much money with them. Were they planning to be philanthropists? A total of 176 billion euros. I damn, Gogh just helped him acquire over 200 billion euros, and now there's another massive sum. His liquid assets had already exceeded 800 billion US dollars. Was this some kind of joke? The completion of Fang Jueyu's spending task dropped back to zero. If he'd known this would happen, he should have submitted the task right after paying at the auction. What's wrong, young master? You don't seem very happy, Zhuang Ying said strangely. This over 100 billion euros sum might not be significant compared to Fang Jueyu's total assets, but it was still a huge amount. Why did he look so upset? Nothing. Let's just go back. Fang Jueyu only wanted to find a place to sit quietly now, with countless FML thoughts swirling in his mind, needing to vent. Ha. Xiaoyu laughed like a goose. Host, at this rate, even 2 years wouldn't be enough for you to spend all this money. If he could ditch this money, Fang Jueyu would fly a helicopter and scatter money from the sky. But when Xiaoyu issued the task, there were certain rules. This money had to be used purposefully. Donations to foundations or supporting those 3 countries were almost skirting the edge. I hate the people from the Sun Country and the United States even more now, Fang Jueyu said bitterly. With the Ladinic family's facilitation, those originally planning to seize auction items near the Rothschild family had already been cleared out, and Fang Jueyu returned smoothly to the hotel. Wang Kong had been back for a while, sharing the day's interesting events with his team. They had known about the international news through social networks, and were aware that Wang Kong and Fang Jueyu were attending the auction today. They also guessed that the person crazily monopolizing the auction was probably Fang Jueyu. "Yo, you're back. We've been chatting here for a while." Wang Kong was still in a very excited state. "Director, we heard Miss Scarlett invited you. Did you two do anything scandalous?" a teammate joked. "So how was it? Are foreigners as wild as they say?" Fang Jueyu wore a lifeless expression as he weakly sat on the couch. Seeing him like that, Wang Kong and his team laughed. "Your stamina is lacking, man. How did you end up like this so quickly?" "Sai, don't even mention it. I'm not in the mood to joke." Fang Jueyu shook his head. "Hey Wang, let me ask you something. Do you know of any investment projects that are money-burning?" "Huh, why are you suddenly asking this?" Wang Kong asked, puzzled. "You're already insanely rich and you're still thinking about investing. There's barely any money left on Earth. Can't you Fang family people give us common folks a break?" "I'm not trying to make money," Fang Jueyu said. "I mean projects where you throw a lot of money in but it takes years to break even, or those that lose money, losing billions or hundreds of billions." Fang Jueyu was practically going crazy, willing to do anything just to spend. "Are you feverish?" Wang Kong put a hand on Fang Jueyu's forehead. "Everyone's thinking about making money and you're thinking about spending it, about losing it. If you just ate a peanut, you wouldn't be spouting such nonsense." "I'm serious." Fang Jueyu grabbed Wang Kong's shoulder. You, don't be like this," Wang Kong panicked. "As far as I know, the biggest money sink is railway construction. Building a railway costs a fortune. In complex terrains, a kilometer can cost over $1 billion. It obviously takes a long time to break even. Besides that, you could research the cosmos, build a spaceship, go explore aliens. Which of these doesn't cost money?" Wang Kong started rambling. "What you're saying makes some sense." Fang Jueyu's thinking suddenly cleared. Where could a corporation spend more than a country in construction? He could totally invest in large-scale national projects. Not just those, but scientific research. Starting a tech company, wouldn't those spend money faster? "Ha ha ha ha, Wang, you're a genius," Fang Jueyu laughed. "This was the right way to spend money." The underground emperor of Europe, Adam, had mysteriously disappeared. In just 2 days, this news quickly spread throughout Europe. This was no small matter. In Europe, such underground organizations were legally recognized. If it were a small organization, it might not draw much attention, but you had to know, Adam was not some ordinary big shot. Yet no one dared to have ideas about the empire Adam left behind, because those enterprises had already begun to be taken over by others. If Adam was an emperor, then this power was the entire god of Europe, an unshakable god. For several days straight, not only all of Europe but the whole world was abuzz with this news. People revealed that before Adam disappeared, he had participated in an auction, and no one had seen him since. Until the 4th day, suddenly, another piece of news appeared. Someone came forward to prove the news of Adam's death, and internationally a name with a Huaxia flavor appeared, Yan Xiunying. The person to prove this was undoubtedly Scarlett. Her appearance at that auction was no secret. After investigations by various forces, people found out that Adam's people had looked for Scarlett after the auction, so Scarlett was the last person to have contact with Adam. Scarlett had actually been torn for a long time because, in her eyes, Fang Jueyu was an even more mysterious person with a much more substantial background than Adam. To be honest, she was unwilling to disclose what happened that night. However, the media and public exerted a lot of pressure on her. Precisely because of the legal existence of black forces, Adam held an unusual status in European society. The chain reaction caused by his death was extraordinary, so many people were desperately seeking the truth of this matter. Under the pressure from others, Scarlett eventually disclosed Fang Jueyu's information, but she never imagined that this name was just a random alias that Fang Jueyu blurted out for fun. The mysterious Huaxia tycoon, Yan Xiunying. The mystery of European crime boss Adam's disappearance solved, confirmed dead. The suspect is a Huaxia man named Yan Xiunying. That day, this news flooded the major media outlets. Countless people were searching for this man named Yan Xiunying, but they did not find any information at all. On the contrary, Huaxia's netizens were having a field day. Yan Xiunying did exist, but foreigners did not know that he was just a character from film and television. "Ha ha ha, you don't even know who Yan Xiunying is. Let me tell you a secret, Yan Xiunying is our Huaxia's most powerful person. Do you see how incredible Huaxia is? But there's no need to worry, we promise in Huaxia, As long as you don't use nuclear weapons, we definitely won't send Yan Xiuying to intervene in international disputes. I am Yan Xiuying. I bet there's no bullet in your gun. I am Yan Xiuying. I bet there's no uranium in your nuclear bomb. Yes, I'm Yan Xiuying. Adam is the one I killed. Ha 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 ha. Fang Jueyu laughed until his stomach ached while looking at the news online. He never expected that the name he casually mentioned as a joke would actually be spread by Scarlet to the media. Not only that, but foreign media seemed to truly believe that there was a person named Yan Xiuying in Huaxia, who was not only young and handsome, but also as wealthy as a nation with many talented individuals under him. Master, it seems the Ladinic family has encountered some issues recently. Fang Jueyu was browsing various social media sites when Zhuang Ying suddenly brought him news. What's going on? Fang Jueyu asked. He had never seen Zhuang Ying look so serious. I can't contact Colt. What's the matter? Although Colt had brought Fang Jueyu an inexplicably large sum of money, Fang Jueyu still quite liked him because he was very loyal to the Fang family. Master, the last time Mr. Colt handed over all the spoils his subordinates captured to you, it seemed to have upset the top management of the family. I suspect his disappearance is related to this, Zhuang Ying speculated. Oh, Fang Jueyu frowned. To exaggerate a bit, the entire Ladinic was Fang Juyu's private property. Whether that sum of money stayed within the Ladinic family or the Zhuang family, there was no real difference. It seemed like some issues were arising within the Ladinic family. Master, I heard that the current head of the Ladinic family, Mr. Ipal Ladinic, has recently been hospitalized due to health reasons. Mr. Ipal has 2 sons and 2 daughters, and now it seems that conflicts have arisen over the struggle for succession as the next clan leader. What does their struggle for clan leader have to do with Colt? Fang Jueyu was a bit perplexed. Master, you must understand that people's hearts can change, Zhuang Ying said. The Ladinic family has served the Fang family for many years, and they have become essentially the largest force across Europe. Perhaps there are many within this family who remain loyal to you, but inevitably some have become overly ambitious and harbored ulterior motives. You mean someone in the Ladinic family wants to break away from the Fang family? Fang Jueyu immediately grasped Zhuang Ying's point. Indeed, the status of the Ladinic family in Europe was above various nations. If he were in their position, would he be willing to be someone's servant forever? Master, I heard Mr. Colt mention that the Ladinic family is divided into 2 factions, one led by Mr. Ipal's eldest son and youngest daughter, and the other by his second son and eldest daughter. There has always been friction between the 2 factions, but under Mr. Ipal's suppression, nothing too serious has happened. Are there any differences between these 2 factions? Yes, Mr. Colt belongs to the faction of the Ladinic family's second son. They have always advocated maintaining the status quo in Europe and have been dedicated to managing your industries there. And what about the eldest son? Zhuang Ying glanced at Fang Jueyu, seeing a hint of anger in his eyes. The strength of the Ladinic family long ago allowed them to extend their industry beyond Europe and cover the entire world. The eldest son is a very ambitious person, unwilling to be confined to Europe. As far as I know, he has already extended his reach to the Asian region. That's not too strange, is it? But the leaders of our 7 families have regulations. The Zhuang family's power will not extend beyond Huaxia. The elder family's power will not exceed beyond Asia except for Huaxia, and the Ladinic family's influence must not extend beyond Europe. For many years, everyone has managed their industries for you within these agreements. Zhuang Ying was well aware that, although it involved merely some industries, it was apparent that the Ladinic family's eldest son seemed unable to restrain his restlessness any longer. Their wings have hardened. Do they really think there's something impressive? Fang Jueyu sneered coldly. Damn, this is rebellion. Interesting. Looks like I'll have to make time to visit the Ladinic family soon. Fang Jueyu mused thoughtfully. Sister Ying, help me arrange it. I'm heading there tomorrow. Old Fang, the match is about to start. Aren't you waiting to watch this semifinal before you leave? Fang Jueyu told Wang Kong that he might need to leave for a few days. I have something urgent to take care of, so I'll pass on watching it. With the tactical guidance provided by Little Yi, Fang Jueyu didn't think the STT team could win against ZZ. Tell the team to relax and play well. When I come back, I hope to see Jin Zheng's wearing the Ari costume cheering for us in the finals. Ha ha ha, alright, go on with your business, don't worry. I'll take good care of these little guys and won't let you down. Wang Kong sensed that Fang Jueyu seemed to have something important going on, so he didn't push him to stay. Fang Jueyu's private plane was already prepared at the royal airport of the Salote Kingdom. It had been dispatched on short notice from elsewhere, but the interior and performance of the plane were still top-notch. "Sister Ying, have you already made the arrangements?" Fang Jueyu asked. He knew very well that this trip to the Ladinic family's headquarters was like entering a lion's den. Even if they appeared respectful on the surface, unexpected incidents weren't out of the question. It was known that the Fang family was not a gigantic clan. Although they wielded immense power, each generation had only one member. If they could permanently keep Fang Jueyu, the current heir of the Fang family, there, the Ladinic family might gain lasting freedom and would no longer need to devote their entire family strength to serve a single person like a dog. "Gogh, do you know about the Ladinic family's people?" Fang Jueyu asked. "Yes, they have their own cultivation system for hidden elementers. As far as I know, they've trained about 500 hidden elementers, but more than half are just at the basic level. Middle-level hidden elementers number no more than 20, and there are probably very few high-level ones." "Are hidden elementers categorized into levels?" "Yes, sir. However, the potential guiding technique your ancestor left with the Ladinic family includes only the initial content. Elevating to a high-level hidden elementer is already their limit." "What about you?" Fang Jueyu asked. "Sir, Gogh and the Gogh family have always been the most loyal followers of the Fang family. My ancestors have already proven this," Gogh stated seriously. "A long time ago, my family obtained the second part of the potential guiding technique, so I have transcended the hidden elementer level. According to the guiding technique's classification, I'm now a source energy user." "That's really complex." Fang Jueyu scratched his head. "Host, this is a classification system of cosmic civilizations in terms of different degrees of human potential development. Above source energy users, there is a level called divine ability user. Your father, Fang Jueyu, is at that stage. When you reach that level, you can travel the universe." "So you're saying the strongest in the Ladinic family are just hidden elementers?" Hearing Gogh's explanation, Fang Jueyu breathed a sigh of relief. Although he didn't know the specifics of the differences, Gog's calm demeanor almost assured him that Gogh didn't take the entire Ladinic family seriously. "Gogh, are all the people around Aunt Xuanxinyan at your level?" "Not exactly," Gogh shook his head. "There are now more than 100,000 hidden elementers, with about 1,200 source energy users, and each who becomes a source energy user is utterly loyal to the Fang family." "Wow, it seems that dominating Earth wouldn't be a difficult task for me," Fang Jueyu marveled. "Host, that's your ambition," Little Yi said discontentedly. "I am a superintelligent system leading Earth civilization by who knows how many years. With enough time and resources, this small star system would be easily within reach, let alone dominating the universe." "You're insane," Fang Jueyu cursed, thinking he was just an ordinary Earthling, and yet Little Yi was prompting him to conquer the universe. It must have lost its mind. Fang Jueyu actually had no emotions towards the Ladinic family. He believed that most members of the Ladinic family had no feelings for him either. Continuing to serve, the Fang family was only due to an ancestral rule passed down through generations. With the loss of the initial batch of absolutely loyal people to the Fang family, naturally, some discordant voices emerged within the Ladinic family. The fact that it had persisted until now without being exposed was already quite commendable. It showed that at least each generation of leaders of the Ladinic family held a certain loyalty to the Fang family. The plane slowly landed in a city in France. The Ladinic family had settled in this city over 500 years ago, and their castle was like a military-restricted area that no one dared approach. The headquarters of the Ladinic family developed into a miniature city within a city, complete with their own marketplace, school, hospital, and even their own airport. If you set aside the French government, they were practically akin to a mighty nation. In reality, the leaders of the French government were put into power with the financial support of the Ladinic family, which speaks volumes in itself. Fang Jueyu, wearing cool sunglasses, descended from the plane. Two neatly lined rows of people stood beneath it, wearing uniforms emblazoned with the Fang family's totem. However, with the times changing, they had added some of their own elements to the totem, since this totem served as the emblem for 6 other families as well. Why do I feel like a president on a goodwill visit? A big family was indeed a big family. The etiquette alone was impeccable. The two rows stretched dozens of meters long, and at the queue's end stood another line of people, composed of men and women, with 2 men and 2 women standing at the front, and their respective families behind them. Master, from left to right are the next generation of the Ladinic family's first young master to the second young lady, Zhuang Ying introduced. The Ladinic family's young master Reino is 54 this year, the second young master Mok is 52, the eldest young lady Nasha is 49, and the second young lady Evla is 47. Fang Jueyu's gaze swept across their faces. Every member of the Ladinic family practiced the potential guiding technique, so they appeared very youthful, around the appearance of 30 at most, and all were relatively good-looking. While Fang Jueyu was assessing them, the Ladinic family members were also scrutinizing them. Although they had always served Fang Jueyu's family, they had only ever viewed it as a task. Ipal always reminded them that rank should differ. If they ever met Fang Jueyu, they must address him as master. Mok and Nasha adhered to this, but Reino and Evla didn't care for it. It was no longer the olden days, yet they still used the term master. The glory of the Ladinic family had been entirely created by their ancestors' efforts. Even if they owed something to the Fang family in the past, it should be repaid by now, right? Why still kowtow and serve as if being subservient? Fang Jueyu walked to the end of the line and took off his sunglasses. His sharp gaze scanned across their faces. Master, welcome back. Welcome back, young master. With Mok leading the way, Reino and the others followed suit with the appropriate courtesies. Although they didn't want to acknowledge Fang Jueyu as the young master in their hearts, everyone within the family knew that the Ladinic family had a master. It's a family belief, so regardless of how they felt, they had to put on a show of respect outwardly. All right, what era is this that we're still using young master? Fang Jueyu waved his hand. Zhuang Ying and Gogh Yi called him that all the time, and he was getting tired of it. A name was just a name. Genuine loyalty and respect were matters of the heart. Young master, these are the first few rules of our Ladinic family's code. Our family makes no distinctions between gender or age. Whenever we see the young master, we must use this title, even if our father were here, Mok said. This Mok seems to have some sincerity. Fang Jueyu could tell from his firm response that Mok wasn't just going through the motions. He truly placed Fang Jueyu in a high position in his heart. He nodded with satisfaction, thinking that if Ipal, the current head of the Ladinic family, fell, Mok would be an excellent successor. Regardless of his capabilities, loyalty was the most important quality. I heard Ipal was hospitalized. How is he now? Fang Jueyu asked. Thank you for your concern, young master. My father is getting old and he was injured in his younger years. When the weather turned cold, he developed a lung infection and the old injuries flared up again, so he couldn't withstand it. Ipal was also a hidden elementer. He should have an excellent physical condition and live healthily to over 100 years old without any problems. Even if he had been injured when he was young, it shouldn't have led to a lung infection at the age of 80 or more, should it? Young master, there's something fishy here. Guya's voice rang in Fang Jueyu's mind. The cells of a hidden elementer, guided by potential, are resistant to infections by Earth's viruses and bacteria. Even if injured, their cells' automatic defenses shouldn't decrease. They shouldn't be getting infections due to climate change. Are you suggesting something else is going on? Fang Jueyu immediately grasped the underlying issue. It's hard to say, let's just watch for now. Young master, it's a bit cold outside. Let's head home first. Mok made way, and the entire Ladinic family castle was like a small city. Their residence was quite a distance from this airport. Fang Jueyu nodded and got into the front vehicle, with Zhuang Ying and Gogh Yi sitting in the back. Reino and Evla got into the second car, while Mok and Nasha were in the third, clearly showing the family's alignments. Big brother, what does the Fang family's young master mean by coming here this time? Evla finally couldn't hold back and asked. Since the news of Fang Jueyu's impending visit to the Ladinic family came a few days ago, she hadn't slept well for 2 nights. How can you blame me? Evla retorted confidently. The Ladinic family has been serving the Fang family for hundreds of years. Even if our ancestors owed them a debt, our service all these years should have repaid it by now. Big brother, our father has gone senile. Are you going to be senile too? Evla grew more agitated as she spoke. Other than the start when the Fang family's ancestor provided ours with funds to regain control of the family, what about after that? Our development to this scale relies entirely on our abilities, having nothing to do with the Fang family. After taking down Adam, they could gain assets amounting to a terrifying over 200 billion euros. Even for the Ladinic family, this wasn't a sum to be easily dismissed. But Colt handed it over without even asking. He was part of the Ladinic family, not the Fang family. Shouldn't he first consider his own family and everything he did? Especially since the Fang family didn't need a few thousand billion euros. Why bow and scrape to hand over such a sum? Reino fell into silence. As the eldest in the family, there were many things he shouldn't say out loud, but didn't he feel the same way inside? After developing for a dozen centuries, the Ladinic family has reached an unimaginable scale, not to mention their political influence and other intangible factors. Their assets alone exceeded 2 trillion euros. Why should they bow and serve a young man in his 20s because of a family bond from centuries ago? Big brother, do you truly want the whole family to follow a master like dogs for a lifetime? Evla expressed all her thoughts. But what can we do? Reino sighed. It's part of the ancestral teachings left by our forefathers. Have you forgotten? The first rule is never betray Huaxia's Fang family. Should we defy our ancestors' commandments? Big brother, why are you still so old-fashioned? Do you really want our descendants to be slaves forever? The word slaves silenced Reino completely. As a member of the Ladinic family, they could almost do anything in Europe. But before this young man, they were indeed as humble as slaves. What are you planning to do? Reino asked. Big brother, I'll be honest with you. Father isn't hospitalized because of an infection, but because of a biological toxin. This toxin depletes the energy in his body, making him weaker than an ordinary person. You did this. Reino looked at her in disbelief. He couldn't fathom his sister would go to such lengths against their father. No wonder. Ipal had always been healthy. How could he suddenly be hospitalized due to a lung infection? Big brother, don't forget. Our father stupidly adheres to the ancestral teachings. If he doesn't fall with his influence, how can we possibly control the entire family? Not to mention the second and third brothers, they're also loyal followers. If father remains, the one to take over the family will definitely be the second brother, not you. This struck a chord with Reino. The heirs of the Ladinic family weren't always passed to the eldest son. Reino mainly handled the family's business operations, while Moke was responsible for liaising with the other 6 families and was always on call for any needs of the Fang family members. Given Ipal's nature, the clan leader position would definitely not go to Reino. It would be Moke. Reino could relinquish the dignity of the Ladinic family because he only needed to bow down before Fang family members. But besides the need for certain resources, there were almost no interest conflicts with Fang family members. But when it came to the position of clan leader, Reino wasn't about to give it up that easily. Tell me your plan. After much deliberation, Reino finally succumbed to his greed. Big brother, Europe is our turf, and here even a member of the Fang family, no matter how influential, must succumb to our control, Evla said confidently, a confidence stemming from the current strength of the Ladinic family. Speak clearly, there's no need for us siblings to hide anything from each other, Reino replied. His relationship with Evla was the closest, and their strong personalities always placed them on the same side. Of course, we want to keep the young master of the Fang family here in Europe forever. Evla's beautiful face carried a fierce determination that seemed out of place with her appearance. Are you insane? Reino had initially thought Evla's goal was merely to threaten Fang Jueyu to gain independence for the family, but he hadn't expected her to be so decisive. Big brother, if you were the young master of the Fang family and we dealt with you here, what would you do if you were able to leave Europe safely? Evla asked. Naturally, I'd do whatever it takes to get revenge, Reino answered without hesitation. Exactly, big brother. You must understand that while our Ladinic family is indeed powerful, we have no fear of the insignificant Zhuang family. However, if he utilized the strength of several other families, it wouldn't matter even if we unleashed all our hidden powers. The Ladinic family publicly had only a few hundred hidden elementers, but in reality, that number was far greater. Over the years, they had used immense wealth and resources to cultivate numerous hidden elementers. They had been conducting secret training, and the happenings in Europe were known only to the Ladinic family. As long as they didn't leak this information, the other families wouldn't obtain any related intelligence. To date, the Ladinic family's total number of hidden elementers had exceeded 1,000, with more than 10 high-level hidden elementers, making them the strongest among the 7 families. Fang Jueyu had only brought a single bodyguard this time. Could more than 1,000 hidden elementers not hold him back? Big brother, if we intend to confront him, We must make the most decisive decision and not afford him any chances. How many people can we utilize right now? Reino asked. Half of the instructors at the Hidden Elementers training base are under my control, plus our original strength. We can mobilize around 700 Hidden Elementers. 700 is quite a number. Even if the second insists on protecting the Fang, there's still no match for us, Reino said with satisfaction. However, the Fang's personal bodyguard is a big problem. Reino knew that the potential guiding technique left by their ancestors was only a part. Even back then, the Fang family might have given him only that part. Thus, Fang Jueyu must be in control of the remaining portion. It wasn't difficult to deduce that Fang Jueyu's personal bodyguard might be someone stronger than a high-level hidden elementer, a very unstable factor indeed. You don't need to worry about that, Evla stated confidently. Although I'm not sure how strong he is, his life energy shows he's only 28. Even if he started practicing the guiding technique from a young age, regardless of his talent, he'd only surpass us by a little at most. Only 28 years old. Reino knew that to cultivate to the highest level of the guiding technique passed down in their family required a significant amount of resources and time. Even enjoying the best resources, the four of them had only recently become high-level hidden elementers. Gogh was only 28. No matter how many resources the Fang family devoted to him, he shouldn't be able to match hundreds of hidden elementers alone, right? Right, in that case, we must do everything to the extreme and definitely not fail. Understood. Fang Jueyu sat in the front passenger seat of the car with a calm expression, seemingly unbothered by the affairs of the Ladinic family. In truth, as his understanding of Ipal deepened, Fang Jueyu learned many things. Although the Ladinic family controlled vast wealth, honestly, this wealth was dispensable to him since he rarely had an opportunity to use it. Besides, he had no emotional ties to the family. Even if internal conflicts or betrayal arose, Fang Jueyu saw no issues worth pondering. At worst, he could simply rearrange this power. For him, the true treasure was Ipal himself. Even without Ipal, the few mothers Fang Jueyu left behind on Earth would be enough to care for Fang Jueyu well. A Ladinic family wasn't something he considered worth much attention. In contrast, he was more worried about Colt's safety, as Colt was indeed a loyal person. Even though the assets he entrusted to Fang Jueyu resulted in him failing his mission, Fang Jueyu had once nearly had the urge to kill him. Gogh, can you sense what they're thinking? Fang Jueyu asked. Young master, they all possess high-level hidden elementer strength. While I'm a source energy user, and despite the similarities in cultivation systems, there's a chance they may detect me. Forget it then, no need to stir the hornet's nest, Fang Jueyu said. The Ladinic family was really massive. Taking a full half-hour drive before the car finally pulled into a giant castle-like European mansion. It wasn't as Fang Jueyu had imagined, with servants bustling everywhere. The entire castle was serene, permeated by a tranquil and soothing atmosphere. Young master, we've prepared a lunch banquet to welcome you, Reino said deferentially. Thank you for your efforts, Fang Jueyu nodded, sitting naturally at the head of the dining table. Iban's 4 children and family members sat on each side, and for some reason, each of them seemed a bit anxious. Especially the family members who had never seen anyone from the Fang family since joining the Ladinic family, and some only learning about the young master's existence a few days ago, felt uncertain. I'll propose a toast to the young master first. Reino stood up, raising a glass toward Fang Jueyu. Let's not rush to eat. Fang Jueyu did not give Reino the courtesy he sought. He wasn't here for dining and drinking. Mr. Reino, my main purpose for coming this time is to learn something. Reino felt a jolt in his heart, casting a nervous glance at Evla. Young master, feel free to command. Our Ladinic family exists to serve you, Moke interjected hurriedly. Then I'll get straight to the point, Fang Jueyu said bluntly. Why has Colt, who's been in charge of the Huaxia liaison, suddenly become unreachable? Moke was just about to speak when Reino immediately interrupted him. Young master, Colt is just an ordinary liaison officer. Why come all this way specifically for him? Reino had already prepared an explanation. Young master, the thing is, Colt recently committed some minor offenses, and according to family rules, we need to punish him slightly. We're handling the liaison matter right away. Is that so? Fang Jueyu stared at him. I find him agreeable. How about giving me a favor and letting him go? Reino really couldn't believe that Fang Jueyu actually came to the Ladinic family, specifically, just for the matter of Colt. Why would you, a rich heir with a good life, travel such a long distance for an insignificant contact? And the reason is so casual, just because you find this person pleasing to the eye. However, Evla was not going to release Colt. Young master, our family has its own rules. I hope you will not interfere in our internal affairs. It seems you already consider me an outsider. Fang Jueyu felt like laughing. Regardless of the pretense, he was still the visible master of the entire Ladinic family. Evla's words were thoughtless. Was she trying to immediately tear the mask of civility? Evla, how can you speak to the young master like that? Moke said angrily. He was aware that his sister had never truly respected the Fang family's master. In Evla's eyes, what did the Fang family rely on? Wasn't it the resources and power of the 7 families? Without the support of these 7 families, the Fang family would be nothing. The events at the auction a few days ago were unknown to others, but as members of the Ladinic family, Evla and they were very clear. This heir of the Fang family was good for nothing, just mindlessly squandering money. Spending hundreds of billions of euros on gaudy things at an auction was one thing. At least these things had certain value. It was just money being transformed into another form. But he actually gave away 60 billion euros to representatives of other countries for free. Was he out of his mind, or had he lost his wits? Did he really think the money fell from the sky? Sorry, young master, Evla is a bit immature. I apologize on her behalf. Mo quickly tried to smooth things over. Evla, let me ask you, what's the first rule our ancestors left us? Moke asked loudly. Evla stubbornly turned her head away like a defiant teenager, but seeing her exterior, she indeed seemed like a little girl throwing a tantrum. I'm asking you. Moke felt he had lost face. As an elder brother, he couldn't even manage his sister's behavior, especially when she was being so disrespectful in front of the young master. The Ladinic family is forever the most loyal supporter of the great Huaxia Fang family. Everything belonging to the Ladinic family is unconditionally under the command of the Fang family at any time. Good that you know, Moke said. In front of the young master, our family has no secrets. The young master has absolute say in all family matters. Don't you care if father is hospitalized? Evla bit her lip, her fists clenched tightly under the table. Being reprimanded by her brother in front of so many people was humiliating. Evla, go and reflect in the clan's room. Reino feared Evla wouldn't control her emotions and might clash with Fang Jueyu directly. Their arrangements had just begun and couldn't be exposed now. Reino and Evla exchanged a look, seemingly reaching some kind of consensus in that moment. Sorry, young master, it was my slip of the tongue. I will reflect immediately. Evla bowed to Fang Jueyu and then headed toward the clan's room. Young master, sorry to make you witness this joke, Moke said apologetically. Let it be, Fang Jueyu waved his hand. You've served the Fang family for so many years, and the Fang family has always relied on your strength and resources without giving anything in return. I can understand some grievances. With Moke and Reino giving him enough face, Fang Jueyu didn't say more. As for Colt, this contact has been very useful to me, so I hope to see him soon. The atmosphere of the lunch had become awkward, and Fang Jueyu had no appetite to continue eating. Please arrange a place for me to stay. Tomorrow I'll check on Ipal, then return. He had no time to play games with those who might have other intentions. Fang Jueyu believed that once he showed any intention of leaving, those people would quickly emerge. Young master, are you leaving so soon? Reino hadn't expected Fang Jueyu would decide to leave so quickly. He believed Fang Jueyu had already sensed some problems within the Ladinic family before coming here. He actually had everything ready and arranged to ensure that Fang Jueyu wouldn't see anything they didn't want him to. But surely he would stay in the family to observe for some time. After all, the Ladinic family wasn't a small entity. Even if Fang Jueyu wanted to reform it, he'd have to proceed cautiously, or it would damage his own interests. However, Reino could not imagine they were overestimating the Ladinic family's weight in Fang Jueyu's mind. Frankly, in Fang Jueyu's heart, the Ladinic family didn't hold much weight. If he wanted, he could quickly establish a second Ladinic family. The Fang family's foundation couldn't simply be measured by money and force. Reino had arranged a room for Fang Jueyu, with Zhuang Ying and Guya staying next to him. Host, there are quite a few surveillance and bugs in this room. As he walked into the room, Zhao Yi reminded him. It seems some of them are indeed planning to break away from the Fang family and become independent. Today, through Evla's attitude, Fang Jueyu could see many things. It's time to show them what power cards I hold, Fang Jueyu said coldly. Some kids need a firm hand now and then, or they'll lose all respect. Host, what do you plan to do? Xiaoyi asked. Here's an interesting piece of news. The eldest daughter of the Ladinic family has secretly trained quite a number of hidden elementers, at least twice the number known publicly. What are they planning to use those hidden elementers to keep me here? Fang Jueyu laughed. It seemed the Ladinic family, hiding in Europe, didn't quite grasp what his father, Fang Jueyu, held in his hands with those women. Right now, Ivla and Reino are discussing how to deal with you, Xiaoyi said. Ah, the world never lacks self-deluded people like this. Well, if that's the case, let's remind them that 1,000 years ago, my ancestors gave them what they have today. Even if I were an ordinary person, reclaiming everything would be a piece of cake. Xiaoyi, help me block the surveillance here. Done, host. Xiaoyi completed the task in an instant. Fang Jueyu took out his phone and dialed Zhuang Xinyan's private number, then his face displayed a sycophantic smile. Stepmom, it's me again. Yes, I'm having fun in Europe. Can I borrow a group from you? Not too many, maybe 10 or 20,000. What happened? Why did all the surveillance equipment in his room fail? Reino and Ivla looked bewildered at the static-filled screen. They had planted a large amount of surveillance equipment in that room, all of which was advanced equipment they had developed themselves. Even the usual hidden elementers couldn't detect it. However, their understanding of Fang Jueyu was too simplistic. They thought his greatest reliance was only his family background and personal bodyguards, not knowing that the intelligent system on him was centuries ahead of Earth civilization. A few cameras were simply a joke compared to Little Yi's capabilities. Could he have found out? Ivla asked uneasily. Not necessarily. If he had discovered our actions, he would have probably left tonight. Does he really think he can contend with our entire Ladinic family on his own? If he could, the Fang family would have dominated the whole planet long ago, Reino said. That's true, it's just those old stubborn ones who describe the Fang family as if they were gods descending to Earth, but this Fang Jueyu is just a young scoundrel. Ivla laughed, slamming a stack of files on the table, almost none of which recorded any of Fang Jueyu's achievements. By the way, how are the personnel arrangements? Reino asked, which was the thing he was most concerned about so far. Don't worry, big brother. 70% of the hidden elementers in the whole family are under our control, 10% remain neutral, and the remaining 20% can't stir up much trouble, Ivla said. Among Ipal's 4 children, Ivla was the most gifted. In the warriors cultivated by the Ladinic family, the average age to become a hidden elementer was around 20, and becoming an advanced hidden elementer was usually after the age of 50. However, Ivla had already become a hidden elementer at the age of 12, and an advanced hidden elementer by age 35, so the family's hidden elementers had always been managed by her. After more than a decade of accumulation, Ivla had already grasped most of the power in her hands. After all, those hidden elementers cultivated by the family were not all from the Ladinic family. In their hearts, the Ladinic family was their true faith. What about those old fellows? In the Ladinic family, besides clan leader Ipal, there were many senior managers, each with extraordinary strength. A single advanced hidden elementer could easily counter dozens of ordinary hidden elementers. In large-scale battles, their power was crucially influential. Out of the 8 elders, 4 are on our side, and 2 elders are constantly taking care of our father, so we also have a significant advantage when it comes to the number of elders. In fact, people with ideas like Ivla and Reino did not just appear in this generation. It was only because the previous clan leaders and elders were relatively strong, so the family as a whole maintained a high concentration of power. However, with the generational differentiation of power, this kind of change naturally became unavoidable. In that case, good, when do you plan to take action? Let him bid farewell to our stubborn father once. We'll act at the airport, and his accompanying pilot is just an ordinary person. I've already had several hidden elementers prepare plasma bombs on the plane. Once the bombs explode, everyone will swarm them. I have more than an 80% chance of success. 80%? Reino was silent for a moment. This success rate was quite high, but if it wasn't 100%, he still couldn't rest easy. I will contact people from various European countries to borrow some superpower users from them. Reino took out a token engraved with the Ladinic family crest. We have operated in Europe for so long, it's time to utilize those forces. Young master, we've got the car ready. We're ready to go. The next morning, just as Fang Jueyu had finished his breakfast, Ipal's 4 children arrived on time. The Ladinic family's estate had many large hospitals themselves. The medical conditions here were among the best in the world, so Ipal could receive treatment in his family's hospital. "Let's go," Fang Jueyu walked grandly to the front car. "Let's see how long you can keep up that arrogance." Ivla glared at Fang Jueyu with eyes full of venom, looking at both her second brother and sister at the same time. With personalities like theirs, the future Ladinic family would only become slaves. The castle where the main members of the Ladinic family resided was on the edge of the estate, while the hospital was built in the center. Although it was just a hospital, it was almost more luxurious than the Platinum Palace in England. Ipal's ward was on the highest floor of the inpatient department, and it was more like a luxury 7-star hotel room than a ward. Not many people were outside the ward. Only 2 old men looking about 60 or 70 were standing there. But Gogh had told him these were very strong and had reached the peak state of hidden elementers, likely close confidants of Ipal. Fang Jueyu led the way into the ward, where apart from Reino and the 4, everyone else stood quietly at the door. Seemingly tormented by the virus, Ipal appeared very weak and thin, not at all like how an advanced hidden elementer should look. His eyes were closed, breathing from an oxygen mask, struggling even to breathe. Mo cautiously moved forward and whispered into Ipal's ear, "Father, young Master Fang Jueyu from the Fang family has come to see you." As if a surge of energy had been infused into him, Ipal's tightly shut eyes flew open. He couldn't speak due to the tubes in his mouth, but his lips trembled with excitement, tears streaming down the wrinkled corners of his eyes. Witnessing this, Fang Jueyu had immediate respect for the old man. Even without any exchange, he knew that Ipal revered him and the entire Fang family as if they were his faith. Ipal's frail arms seemed to want to prop his body up, but he had no strength left. "Ipal, rest well if your body can't take it. I'm not much for formalities." Fang Jueyu pressed down on Ipal's shoulder and firmly pushed him back onto the bed. "Little Yi, take a look at what's wrong with his body," Fang Jueyu said. An energy formed by a biological current flowed imperceptibly over old Ipal's body, completing the entire check in a moment. "Young master, there seems to be a strong biological toxin in his body." Little Yi quickly identified the issue. This toxin has invaded his lungs and stomach, manifesting like a bacterial infection, which is difficult for Earth's medicine to detect. "Did someone tamper with it?" "Yes, this biological toxin is synthetic and must be used long-term to be effective on a hidden elementer. It seems this is not a recent issue." These people really are ruthless." Fang Jueyu couldn't help but feel a surge of anger. "You all leave for a moment. I have a couple of things to discuss with Ipal," Fang Jueyu ordered. Moke and Nasha turned around without hesitation. They had absolute loyalty and trust in Fang Jueyu. Reino and Ivla hesitated for a moment but eventually decided to leave. "Moke, you stay," Fang Jueyu said. "Gogh, don't let anyone hear this conversation," Fang Jueyu said in his mind. "Yes, young master." Gogh immediately used his spiritual power to shield the entire room. "Moke, give this to your father in a couple of days." Fang Jueyu handed over a pill crafted by his ancient ancestor. "In at most 2 days, he'll recover, assuming you trust me." "Haha, young master, you're joking. I believe you wouldn't harm father." Moke had a blind reverence for the Fang family, and even though the pill looked hideous and disgusting, he nevertheless believed it would cure Ipal. How did Ladinic's ancestors brainwash them to this extent? Fang Jueyu thought to himself, thinking he could roll something off himself after not showering for 10 days, and they'd probably happily gobble it up. Fang Jueyu crouched down next to Ipal. "Ipal, there's some news you might find hard to hear, but I have to tell you, you don't have an infection. Your dear son and daughter poisoned you." A trace of anger flashed in Ipal's eyes, but more than anything there was sorrow. "They probably plan to kill me shortly and then separate the Ladinic family from the Fang family's domain. I'm letting you know first," Fang Jueyu said. "These damn kids, I'll help you beat them to a pulp later." Out of respect for Fang Jueyu, Moke did not pry into what he had said to his father Ipal, but he noticed that Ipal's pupils suddenly dilated, clearly hearing something shocking or enraging. Ipal seemed to want to say something, but with a tube down his throat, he couldn't utter a word and could only look at Fang Jueyu with eyes full of pleading. Although his children were ungrateful, they were still his flesh and blood. Ipal did not have a concrete understanding of the Fang family's power, but he was convinced of one thing, that destroying the Ladinic family would be an easy task for Fang Jueyu. Although there was no reason to ask Fang Jueyu to spare Reino and Evla, it was the only thing a father could do. "Sigh, two brats making a mess that their father has to clean up," Fang Jueyu said in a condescending tone. "Fine, I promise not to kill them and how to deal with them. You handle it yourself once your body recovers." Hearing Fang Juyu's response, Ipal seemed to instantly let go of a burden, and even his breathing became a lot more peaceful. "By the way, this smoke is not bad. If you're done one day, hand over the Ladinic family to him to manage." Fang Jueyu left one last sentence, then strode out of the ward. Moke's face was filled with disbelief, as each generation of the Ladinic family had intense internal competition, yet Fang Jueyu decided his future position with just one sentence. Was he dreaming? "They're coming out." Reino and Evla had been eagerly waiting, naturally wanting to find out what had happened inside, but their spiritual power was blocked by an invisible force. Clearly, Fang Jueyu had already been on guard against them, as Gogh had just glanced at them fleetingly, with a gaze full of warning. This only confirmed their determination to keep Fang Jueyu today, or else, even if they did not act against him, Fang Jueyu would immediately begin rectifying the Ladinic family's internal personnel once he returned. By then, even if the strength of the other 6 families combined, no matter how strong the Ladinic family was, they would absolutely not be able to resist. "Take good care of Ipal," Fang Jueyu said to the 2 people outside the door. "Thank you for your concern, young master. We will take good care of the old clan leader." Fang Jueyu nodded, then said to the others, "Let's go, take me to the airport." The car smoothly traveled on the road to the airport, and everyone in each car harbored their own thoughts. Reino and the others were thinking about how to thoroughly deal with Fang Jueyu here, while Moke was pondering how to govern the Ladinic family after inheriting the position of clan leader. As for Fang Jueyu, he was wondering whether to eat Chinese or Western cuisine tonight, and who would win today's STT and ZZ match. Anyway, he never took Reino and the others' plan to heart. The car stopped at the airport, and Fang Juyu's private plane had already been serviced, with the captain and crew waiting for them. "All right, I have some things to attend to. Take care of Ipal," Fang Jueyu said obliquely. "Oh, and when you've set family rules, make sure to enforce them properly. Don't treat them like slogans just said orally and not taken to heart." Moke and Nasha took these words to heart, while Reino and Evla smirked inwardly. What family rules and ancestral precepts? From today on, the Ladinic family would become a brand new, independent family, and those ancestral precepts would never appear in the ancestral hall again. "This is strange. Why haven't they taken action yet?" Fang Jueyu was curious, as he thought he would be ambushed on the way to the airport. Could Reino and Evla have had a change of heart? "Gogh, did you sense anything unusual?" Fang Jueyu asked. "Not for now. It seems they don't plan to act here," Gogh said. "You better keep an eye out for me. This young master's life is in your hands," Fang Jueyu joked. Whoosh! After some acceleration, the plane gradually took to the skies as if everything was calm and peaceful. "Begin the operation." Reino and Evla exchanged a glance, gently pressing a small device in their pockets. This small device was the switch for the electromagnetic bomb they had planted on the plane, and with just the press of a finger, it could instantly disable every system on the plane. But they were destined to be disappointed. This small trick had already been effortlessly disarmed by Gogh when Fang Jueyu got on the plane. The reason they didn't reveal it was simply to see what other tricks this group might have. "Why is this happening?" Reino's face flushed with tension. Fang Jueyu's capability seemed even more formidable than he had imagined. "Evla, activate the family protection system." At this point, they could no longer hesitate. The plane was about to leave the boundaries of the Ladinic family's estate. Click. At the edge of the Ladinic family estate, the ground suddenly split open with a narrow crack, and a surge of energy formed by an electric current surged through the gap. Suddenly, a bolt of electricity shot up to form a visible electromagnetic barrier right in front of the plane. "Hahaha, don't think the Ladinic family only does business. Our technology is top-notch too," Evla laughed. "Family barrier? Evla, what are you doing?" Moke understood the effect of this electromagnetic barrier. If the plane crashed into it, there were almost no other outcomes but a crash, and at the plane's speed, there was no time to adjust the direction. Moke immediately reached out to grab the controller from Evla, but at that moment, Reino punched him hard in the abdomen, a wave of intense energy surging in, wreaking havoc in his body. "Big brother, you!" Moke knew Reino was ambitious, but he never thought he would do something so reckless. You may want to be slaves, but I do not. Reino kicked Moke to the ground. After today, the Ladinic family will become the world's most powerful independent family. At this point, the captain of Fang Jueyu's plane was unable to make any effective evasive maneuvers. The plane tilted and crashed straight into the electromagnetic shield. Damn, what's this? Why does it look the same as the electromagnetic light shield on my car? Host, that's exactly what it is, only its efficiency is much lower than what I made. Activating it for a second, who knows how many power plants worth of electricity it wastes. Boom, with a burst of firelight, the plane turned to countless pieces. Enveloped in a crimson light, Gogh landed far away on the ground with Fang Jueyu, Zhuang Ying, and the unconscious crew members, who were deliberately knocked out by Gogh. Yet they were unscathed by the severe explosion. Gogh, couldn't you stop the plane? Fang Jueyu pouted. The plane cost only a few billion US dollars and wasn't expensive, but the antiques and artworks on board were worth 10 times more. Losing them all at once, Fang Jueyu felt a bit sore. It wasn't about the money, as some of these items were unique and couldn't be bought, no matter the price. I can't help it, young master, the plane's inertia is too strong. Bringing it to an abrupt stop is beyond my power, Gogh said. At your speed, couldn't you have destroyed the device below before the collision? I didn't think of that. Gogh embarrassedly scratched his head, looking like an utter fool. You're a real talent, Fang Jueyu gave a thumbs up. Young master, someone is coming. Gogh focused on the direction they were approaching from, spotting many black dots rapidly closing in from afar. How many people? Fang Jueyu asked. About 720 hidden elementers and 2,450 superpower users. So many? Fang Jueyu was a bit puzzled. Would the Ladinic family really go through the trouble of training those useless superpower users? While the title of superpower user sounded grand, Gogh had already crushed more than a few of them. To various forces and governments, superpower users were precious assets, but to Fang Jueyu, they were just subjects for garbage classification. Nothing to be surprised about, Zhuang Ying said. The Ladinic family controls most of Europe's governments. Many top officials depend on the Ladinic family's financial support to rise to power. In reality, they've already become puppets. Getting these countries, superpower users to mobilize is just a matter of a word from the Ladinic family. Sigh, what a pity. After today, I bet those countries will be crying. They probably haven't realized what kind of enemy they're facing yet, Fang Jueyu said with a tone full of pity. The physical prowess of superpower users and hidden elementers far exceeded that of ordinary humans. In no time, thousands of them surrounded Fang Jueyu and his companions, making for a rather spectacular scene. Young master, who would have thought? We meet again so soon. Reino and Evla stepped to the front, with hundreds of the Ladinic family's hidden elementers standing behind them. Do you think I'm as stupid as you are? Fang Jueyu said mercilessly. Only a fool wouldn't see you two plotting something. Young master, since you figured it out, why are you the fish in our barrel now? Evla asked casually. 3 against 3,000, with 2 of them being ordinary people without any powers. This battle seemed to hold no suspense. No, 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 do you think it's your 3,000 people surrounding us? Fang Jueyu shook his head. Actually, it's the 3 of us surrounding your 3,000 people. Evla, why waste words with him? Reino felt uneasy, as if Fang Jueyu's fearless demeanor was too self-assured. Young master, we apologize. Although your ancestors helped our Ladinic family immensely, our debt to the Fang family has long been repaid, Reino said. If you would grant our family freedom, we wouldn't wish to trouble you. But the Fang family is just too powerful, so we must insist you stay here forever. Blame it on your ancestors. When you see them, be sure to send our regards. Tusk, Fang Jueyu snorted. If his ancestors showed up, Reino would probably be scared half to death. Did he really think his ancestors were no longer around? Who knows on which planet they're currently indulging themselves? Attack! Beep, beep, beep. Just at this incredibly tense moment, Wang Kong suddenly called Fang Jueyu. Damn it, why is this guy calling me now? Fang Jueyu grumbled. Gogh, hold them off for me while I take this call. Yes, young master. Gogh stood in front of Fang Jueyu and company, a red aura igniting around him. From below his feet, red fissures spread out in all directions, as if energy was brewing beneath the ground. Hey Wang Kong, what's up? I'm kind of busy here, Fang Jueyu said while observing the scene around him. The massive force of 3,000 was seemingly intimidated by Gogh alone, none daring to advance. Old Fang, we won. We defeated Team STT-30. Wang Kong's exhilarated voice boomed from Fang Jueyu's phone, followed by cheers like tidal waves, the fans rooting for Team ZZ. Oh, Fang Jueyu said with utter calm. With Xiaoya's plan, beating STT was a piece of cake. Such a decisive victory didn't surprise him in the least. What are you up to? We have a celebration dinner tonight, are you coming or not? Wang Kong asked. Me? Fang Jueyu glanced around. I'm in a bit of a pickle right now, got a whole battalion after me, surrounded by 3,000 people. 3,000 people? Are you in Sparta? Wang Kong laughed. So are you coming or not? Give me a definite answer. I'll come after I deal with these 3,000 Spartan warriors. Fang Jueyu raised his phone and snapped a picture of the current scene. What is he up to? Reno and the others were almost dumbfounded watching this. In their imagination, shouldn't Fang Jueyu be trembling and begging for mercy? Surrounded by 3,000 superpower users and hidden elementers, not only did he leisurely make a phone call, he actually had the time to take a photo. They'd heard that these people in Huaxia really liked something called Friends Circle, where many would take a pic of anything from car accidents to surgeries, even funerals, just to post online. Has it gone to this extent? What are you waiting for? All together now. Reina was trembling with rage, feeling absolutely disrespected by Fang Jueyu. Oh crap, going for real. Fang Jueyu immediately retreated behind Gogh. Ha, Gogh roared, the cracks beneath his feet spewing endless blood-red light, dyeing the sky with a foreboding aura. The blood-red light sliced through the 3,000 like a scythe of death. Those 2,000 superpower users were as frail as ants before Gogh's energy, unable to withstand even a single slash. If it pierced through them, their bodies vanished in a blaze of scarlet flames. As for the hidden elementers, crimson flames burned at their wounds, leaving all on the ground wailing within moments, only Reino and Evla remaining unscathed. Host Gogh is for real now, Xiaoya said. My God, is the gap between hidden elementers and source energy users really this vast? Fang Jueyu was awestruck, as Gogh seemed like a heavenly demon, a formidable force from the heavens. Hidden elementers merely unleash human potential, whereas source energy users channel the omnipresent force called cosmic source energy. Even with their numbers, they can't harm Gogh. Gogh stood in the front line with cold detachment, his chest steady and calm as if he hadn't done a thing. Impossible. Fear engulfed Reino and Evla as 2,000 superpower users lay without a trace, and over 700 hidden elementers rendered powerless. Is this the terrifying might of the Fang family? Scared already? Fang Jueyu found it somewhat disappointing. You had the gall to ambush me here. I expected you to have stronger nerves. Let me tell you, the potential guiding technique your family acquired is just the most basic and low-level kind. Fang Jueyu pointed to Gogh. He's trained in the second layer of the guiding technique. Get acquainted with a source energy user.